Hey guys, the spooky season is finally here. Hey guys, if you are new here, welcome to the Book Path. I'm Nicole, and if this isn't your first rodeo, thanks for sticking around. Fair warning, I am currently sick while doing this. It's okay. We'll get through it. So if my voice sounds a little, bad, it's one of those things. If I lose my voice, if I start to cough as we go on, we'll just deal with it. We'll just deal with it because I wanted to get this out to you guys. I know I haven't been filming for a while. Part of this is why. But we'll go ahead and go on because there are a lot of things happening in the month of October. Basically, we have tons and tons of readathons. I don't know how much of them I am going to participate in. I will leave links to all of them down below if you want to check them out, as well as some of the previous videos where I've announced the TBRs that I'm doing for some of the things that are still going on. So there is a lot going on in October. I don't know if I'm going to be able to participate in everything, but I'm going to share with you the things that I want to try to participate in, and we will see how it's going to go. This month is going to play out a little bit differently. I don't have a full TBR. I have some books that I know I need to get done, and then everything else is going to be kind of as we go. So there might be like more weekly videos kind of saying what's been completed versus kind of when I've gotten a character complete or when I've completed everything. So first up is obviously Becca's Spookoplathon. This is a month-long readathon based on Monopoly, but with a spooky, bookish twist. We did this last year. Usually it has been in September. She has started switching it to October to give it a little bit of a spooky theme. And if at some point this hat comes off, it's just because it is a little weighty and it's kind of tipping, and we'll see. But we are still supporting, the witches. We have, I don't know if I can do it right now, we have our nice little Sanderson sisters here from Hocus Pocus, which I love. It is time to break out all of the Halloween t-shirts, the Halloween leggings. I know some of you guys loved that last year, so those will all be coming back. But let's get back to it. So anyway, we have Becca's Spookoplathon. I did go ahead and create a brand new board. If you happen to watch it, pay no attention to the Ghostface and Jason squares on it because I really botched them. But I was doing this quickly to try to get this out and film this video. So, but I am pleasantly, I'm good with the board. I do kind of like it. And I did post a picture of this out on Instagram. And obviously you will see more of this as we make our rolls, because basically this is just like Monopoly. You roll the dice. If you get doubles, you have to roll again. Each roll constitutes a prompt or a book that you're going to read. So if you roll once but you roll doubles, you are now reading 2 books instead of 1, if that makes sense. There's a whole bunch of rules that basically answer almost everything you can think of up on her announcement video. Like I said, I will link that down below. So basically you have all sorts of spooky bookish prompts. Like I said, a few things have changed, like the author squares and the kind of film killer square types. So let's go ahead, and I did actually roll my first roll, so I will go ahead and show that to you now and go from there. Okay, and here we have the new board. Please excuse my Ghostface and Jason mask. I botched them. It's okay though, it's okay. So anyway, here is the board, and for my character, I'm going to use this lovely little Lego minifig Winifred Sanderson that I have because, it's spooky. So we're gonna go ahead and put her there. Got my dice, and let's go ahead and roll. And we have 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Chance card. And we are reading Swipe Right for Murder. And so for our first roll, we ended up getting a community shelf pick. And with that, we are going to be reading Swipe Right for Murder by Derek Millman. This was one that I already went over in my seasonal spooky challenge video, so I'm not going to go too much over it. But basically you have a young guy who gets into a series of unfortunate circumstances, and he basically is now kind of up against the clock, having to do different things for his life, basically. So this is going to be my pick for my first Monopoly roll or Spookoplathon roll, and as well as completing one of the things off of the seasonal spooky challenge. And yes, the hat is going to come off. I just can't take it anymore. Sorry. Okay, that feels a little bit better. That was kind of weighted on my head and that was starting to hurt, but it was fun, and you know what, we'll keep it back here for some spooky decor for the rest of the month. Maybe I'll put it back on, who knows. So basically that is going to be our first roll. I'm only doing one roll this time because I want to kind of see what I can get done with the rolls, as well as how it kind of fits into some of the other prompts for other readathons. Next up, we have T.B.R. Harvest, and this is also a month-long readathon hosted by Leandra and the T.B.R. Zero. This is my first time doing this one, but it seemed like a lot of fun. And she says that the goal of this is just to kind of like tackle what you already have and just have fun with it. And there are 3 kind of little worksheets or kind of almost mini TBRs within this bigger Harvest TBR. You basically have a TBR Harvest kind of game board, and there are rules on the back. I'm not going to go through all of them because she did that on her video, which I will link below, and you guys can figure out which ones you guys want to do if you want to join. But there is like something for everybody. So there's a game board type here. There is the Escape the Haunted House, and this is one of the ones that I am looking to kind of get. You have the house that you enter in through the roof, and you basically have to make your way down to escape the haunted house. And as you can see, each one has different prompts. So the first one is, you start off in the attic. Below your feet, you hear ghostly moans, heavy creaks, and bone-chilling laughter. To muster the courage to begin your descent, lean on your community. Find a prompt from another readathon happening this month and read a book to fulfill it. Once completed, you can exit the attic. And of course, we just did our roll for Spookoplathon, and we got our first prompt from a community shelf. So that is gonna be swipe right for murder. So we're gonna double up there, and this is kind of how the month's gonna go to get stuff done. And kind of like, let's double up. There's no rules against it, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. So we will go ahead and begin our descent there, and then based on whichever route I kind of want to go or how I roll might dictate how we escape this house. And so that is kind of going to be the big one that we're going to be working on for TBR Harvest. The last one for TBR Harvest is also, it's kind of a mood read board. And so you have all these little icons that are spooky, seasonal kind of things. And each one has its own prompt, and you have things like witchy vibes, cat on cover, a mysterious read, vampires in the story. So this is just kind of a check off as you go. So that's how we're going to use it, is based on what I end up reading for things like Spookoplathon or the Escape the Haunted House, or even things that are to come like the Seasonal Spooky Challenge. As we go along, whatever they have, we are going to go ahead and complete the checklist, and we'll see at the end of the month how many of these we actually did check off. So that is basically the TBR Harvest. Once again, like Spookoplathon, it goes all month long, so we have a little bit of time to complete. We're not in a rush, which is why one of the reasons what prompted me to I cannot talk today. It's one of the reasons that prompted me to want to participate in it, because it was very much at your own pace, almost choose your own type of thing. There is another readathon, which is kind of a D&D choose your character style readathon, which is Fablin, and that is hosted by the Word Nerd. I will link the announcement video down below. Whether or not I participate, I don't know. You basically choose your character, and how you've chosen your character has different prompts that get you different points towards the choices that occur on this journey or travel. Each one is going to be announced at different times periodically throughout October. That's kind of why I don't know if I'll be participating or not, but I do want to advocate for it because it does seem like a lot of fun, especially now that we're coming off of choosing your characters and building up your characters for Magical Readathon. So that is something to keep note of. If I end up doing that, I will discuss it more as the month goes on, but there is also that, and that is a month-long challenge as well. So then, of course, we still have the Magical Readathon Year in Aurelium challenges. We have been backed up. We are slowly getting caught up. As long as we get it done by December, we're going to be okay. And so basically, for both my characters, we're going to be reading the same prompt. So 2 books, same prompt. And that is the Feywild Loudly Shout Hello into the Mist, which I am not going to do because I will probably have a coughing fit after it. But you shout into the mist, and it's basically to read a currently popular book. And so for me, I have chosen 2 books. One is going to be The Ritual by Chantal Tessier. This has been starting to show up on Instagram in various people's picks for what they're currently reading. It has been on my T.B.R. for the Seasonal Spooky Challenge. So I'm not going to go over it too much, but it is basically a dark romance set to a school scene. And that's going to be one pick, while the other one, if I can hold things properly, is going to be Soul of a Witch by Harley LaRue. This is the 3rd book in the Souls trilogy. I still have to read the first 2 books for previous Magical Readathon prompts for the Year in Aurelium. So now we will be getting the whole trilogy done, and so hopefully I can maybe just do a video on the whole trilogy and my thoughts there. But those are going to be my 2 books. Yes, they are chunky. I am hoping because they are more of the dark romance, I will probably, hopefully, buzz through these, you know, sicknesses and life pending. So we still have our Every Romantasy challenge. I know she gave like, I think, a year to complete this. I failed in trying to do it in a month because I'm just, I guess, an overachiever or something like that. I don't know. So we still have some books left in our Every Romantasy challenge. I'll put the board kind of as it stands up here. We still have our Fated Mates prompt. We did try the Woven Mark for this, but we DNF'd it. So I don't really want to count a DNF for these. So I did switch this out with, I think it's the 4th book in the Zodiac Wolves series. And we're going to go ahead and try to finish that one. We still also have our Enemies to Lovers, which is our How Does It Feel, which is book 1 in the Infatuated Fae series by Jeanne O'Reilly. I already went over this one in the Romantasy Challenge T.B.R. I can link that below. There's going to be a lot of stuff linked below if you haven't figured that out already. But this one also needs to be finished and completed for our Enemies to Lovers prompt. And then we still have Blood Mercy that we need to get to for our Friends to Lovers trope. And then there are a few other books that we're going to try because we still would love to get the micro tropes and our bonus challenges achieved. So those are still on kind of a back burner list that we will be trying our best to do. However, everything for the spooky challenges takes precedence, which, speaking of spooky challenges, we still have our Seasonal Spooky Challenge. I know we tried to tackle a few in September. There's still some time to go, so I don't know how much of those I have read, but if those have not been finished, they will move on to October as well. And so we have already seen, you've already seen Swipe Right for Murder and The Ritual previously a few moments ago, because those are going to be doubling up for the Spookoplathon and Magical Readathon prompts, as well as the Seasonal Spooky Challenge. However, we still do have books like As Good as It Gets, The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and Edgewood. I am waiting for a prompt book for Magical Readathon that if I don't get that one, I'm going to substitute it with the Gentleman's or the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. So this one might not be here by October, but stay tuned for that. Otherwise, it will be on the list. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it on for now. But all of those books I went over in the Seasonal Spooky Challenge T.B.R. So you can check those out there if you want to find out more. But we still have a lot to go through. We also ended up picking up and ordering the Ghost and Mrs. Mirror, which was one of our picks for the haunted house. I did finally get that, so I am going to add that one to the list as well. So that is kind of already what our list is for all those readathons I just mentioned. I know it's a little bit of a mind melt there, but there are a few books that I do have to get done in October. So if they fit some of like the prompts that we're going through at the time, or if they fit what I roll for Spookoplathon, I am going to move them in as filling one of those prompts, so that way we're kind of doubling up once again. So first up is going to be Lady Luck by Lane O'Neill. I was fortunate enough to meet this author. I posted some pictures up there on Instagram. I got this book. I took pictures of it because she was kind enough to sign it for me. She had wonderful, character arts and all sorts of goodies that came with it. Once again, I took pictures of those on Instagram. If you want to go ahead and check it out under the book path, feel free to do so. Leave, a little lovely heart to let me know that you guys went there. But this is basically a contemporary romance set to a sort of casino backdrop with a young woman who is set to inherit kind of being the fortune teller of the casino, and she doesn't know if she wants to, as well as a a young man who's set to inherit his parents' kind of restaurant, and he's kind of not knowing what he wants to do. He wants to be a great chef, but it's kind of one of those, I don't necessarily want to call it coming of age, because they are in their 20s as this is going on, so they are a little bit of older, but it is kind of finding yourself, finding out who you want to be, and can you make the romances work when you have different things pulling you in different ways, and one of you might have to leave after a certain time to fulfill those obligations. So I wanted to go ahead and read this because the sequel is coming out in November, and I did sign up to possibly get an arc of that book. So I want to make sure that I have this one read, because the characters in the sequel are making their appearances in this one as well. So it's only right that I read the first book, and I've been wanting to read this too, and it has a stunning cover, so I'm putting it out here and I want to read it. So we're going to read that one. So next up, we have a book that was basically recommended to me by somebody I follow on Instagram, and that is going to be Futuristic Violence and Fancy Suits. This is by David Wong and Jason Pargin. It's the first book in the Zoe Ash series. It's a sci-fi, and usually if you've been watching my channel, you know I'm not one for sci-fis, but this one actually sounded kind of interesting, so I figured I'm going to go ahead and take a chance and read it, and then let you guys know and let my friend know what I kind of thought of it. But basically, you have nightmarish villains with superhuman enhancements, an all-seeing social network that tracks your every move, mysterious, smooth-talking power players who lurk behind the scenes, a young woman from the trailer park, and her very smelly cat. Together, they will decide the future of mankind. Get ready for a world in which anyone can have the powers of a god or the fame of a pop star, in which human achievement soars to new heights while its depravity plunges into the blackest depths. A world in which at least one cat smells like a seafood shop's dumpster on a hot day. This is the world in which Zoe Ash finds herself, navigating a futuristic city in which one can find elements of the fantastic, nightmarish, and ridiculous on any street corner. Her only trusted advisor is the aforementioned cat, but even in the future, cats cannot give advice, at least not any that you'd want to follow. Will Zoe figure it all out in time? Or maybe the better question is, will you? After all, the future is coming sooner than you think. So it's kind of got a sci-fi dark humor type thing to it. So I'm going to give it a try and see how I feel. And it also gave me kind of like The Boys vibes, because you have like those superheroes that are actually more villainous, and the villains which are more superheroes, and they all have these kind of like superpowers. So it just got like those vibes for me. So I'm going to go ahead, check it out, like I said, and we'll find out what that is and how it goes, but I promised to read it in October, so I'm going to keep my promise. So next up, we have to continue with our Cocky Hero Club picks, and I did try to find something that would give us a little bit of spooky vibes, but I couldn't, so I ended up picking Merciless King by Ellie Jean, and basically you have, I'm Chuck Sanson. Cocky, arrogant, and the best boxer in the world, I'm a part-time building maintenance guy for Dexter Truitt, who we already have met in one of the previous books, and now his newest project. It's been the same structured routine for years, training, working, and fighting. But with Dex behind me, someone who can see my end goal and believes in me, I know this is my time. Finally, I will now fight for the heavyweight world boxing title. Nothing will stop this from happening. Not my team, not my friends, and not the headstrong, desirable, gorgeous, blonde bombshell Caroline. Certainly not the deadly intruder in my life or the unwanted revelation that will change my life forever. Blackmail won't work, but who do I trust? Loyalties and people will be broken if I'm to continue my life with ambition of being the heavyweight champion of the world. I hope the selfish destruction I cause will be worth it. So, sports romance possibly has some darker undertones to it. We shall see. But this is going to be our cocky hero pick for the month of October, and we will continue there. But that is basically it for the month of October as far as what I need to get done and what's kind of still in the woodworks from previous readathons that we need to complete. Obviously, if I, by some miracle, finish everything on my list, we will go ahead and maybe mood read our way through our fantasy Reddit bingo board challenge that we have, but I highly doubt we will get that far in. And I just saw actually that I missed a book because, you know, that can happen when there's so many. But basically, I did end up getting a book for one of the cover prompts that was for the Seasonal Spooky Challenge, which was the hands prompt. I didn't have any books that really had hands on the cover as the focus because they didn't want it to be like, oh, if you had a person on the cover, they obviously have hands. They just wanted to focus in on the hands. But lucky enough for me, an author reached out to me, I think it was through Goodreads, and told me a little bit about their book and asked if I'd be interested in reading it. And I was, so I went ahead and I went and picked it out and picked it up and ordered it. And that is Midnight Kiss by Farahilda Winters. I hope I pronounced that name correctly. This is book one in a series called Bloodlines of Love. And it just really sounded really good. It doesn't seem like a very long read. And it obviously does have hands on the cover. I could have used this for the blood as well because, you know, blood is dripping. But basically you have librarian Emily has spent years dreaming of vampires, but the truth is more dark, disastrous, and seductive than she realizes. When Emily picks up the blood-stained diary of a French madman, she marks her fate. She becomes the target of a real vampire. The dark and brooding Alex will stop at nothing to retrieve the diary because it will save his coven and humanity from destruction, even if taking the Book of Secrets means watching a human die, or so he thinks until he lays eyes on Emily. She's beautiful, kind, and everything his beastly nature is not. And when the opportunity to save her arises, he can't resist her, or her kiss, the kiss that seals their fate and unlocks an ancient power. Emily becomes a beacon to every vampire in the city. Vampires who are bloodthirsty have been searching for the book and won't hesitate to spill Emily's blood to get what they want. So, like I said, it just kind of pulled me in. Plus, it has vampires, which I know it fills a couple of other prompts. So it's a multi-prompt fulfilling book. That sounds really good. So I am popping this on our T.B.R. as well. Like I said, a little out of order, but when you've been sick and you're trying to prompt for this many T.B.R.s, it happens. It happens. So, not adding in our ebooks that we have. Once again, we are flirting with disaster and tough challenges that we have yet to complete until now, but you know what? It can always change. This is kind of what we're looking at, plus a few extra. Nothing to worry about. So hopefully the dice for Spookoplathon will be on our side, and maybe some of these can double up or triple up or any other type of up. But yeah, I'm gonna put this down now because it's hurting my wrist. But yeah, that is how we are gonna start off the month of October and trick-or-treating season, as it were. So stay tuned once more for all the craziness, all the books, all the spooky shirts, the leggings, whatever floats your heart. We'll be switching out some of the Lego prompts as well, because if you've seen my videos, you know that I have the Haunted Mansion Lego set, which is behind me right now. I also have the Hocus Pocus Sanderson house, which I thought of putting out, you know, since I'm wearing the shirt, but I thought I'd save that a little bit later and maybe switch them out halfway through the month and you'll be able to see some of those. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys are doing a lot better health-wise than I am right now, and that the fall is coming, the cooler weather is upon you. Right now, we got a little mini heat wave and it is going back up into the 90s where we are, and then it should hopefully go back down. But yeah, so stay healthy, stay hydrated, have fun as the spooky season comes your way. If you want to send me shout outs with what you guys are doing for Halloween, if you want to send me pics on Instagram or send them to my email or anything showing how amazingly beautifully you guys have decorated your houses, send them my way. I love seeing that stuff. I might actually steal some ideas from your pictures, you know. I will pay you homage. Don't worry. But yeah, I hope that you guys are doing phenomenally well and that October is going to be a very fun month for all of you. Let me know what you're participating in if you are, and send me a link to your TBRs if you have one. Hope all is well for you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.